Next up, we have Inheritor by ArturBloodshot, and I'm going to start this in custom game mode because it looked a bit strange in Forge mode how it started. So I want to try it out in custom game mode.
Get ready for some Grifball.
Work together and we'll take this.
New ball.
Okay, it all makes sense now because in Forge mode that looked really odd because you spawn up there and then you turn 90 degrees, I believe. I'm not sure where the other team spawns. I guess we can go look for that. It must be somewhere. I'll look for that later. Okay, he's got the I believe these disappear once the team spawns in. That's how he had it set up on a previous map. I'll have to verify that, but you see there isn't one on red side, but there is on blue. And the way he had these before is that when the team spawns in, these loops disappear. So it gives a really cool effect when they come in. But you see the other teams, you don't see your own. So that actually shouldn't be on this effect. Oh, it's already cleared away. Okay, so just being in the effect is what cleared it away. So that's good. That was all I'm concerned about, is that the effect didn't stay on there. Now, this court is rather bright. Now, it could just be my monitor, but let me see. I'm looking at it in the in the monitor there. You see, it's a little bit on the bright side, and we've had problems with the courts like this. When they're so bright, it's really hard to see players on the other side of the field, and it's very distracting having the sun up in your eyes like that. So I would recommend at first seeing, I don't know if you're running filters or whatever, but you know what, let's just go into Forge mode. Yeah, sometimes the sun setting like that it's unfair to the one team on one side because they're always playing with that bright light on their screen. I'm not going to call it a sunset, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just distracting for one team to have that on their screen when they're facing the opposite end of the court. So let's have a quick look at that in Forge mode. I think almost everything else seems to be fine with that from what I could see. It's just the brightness of it is it's a bit nasty. So let's have a quick look. His other submission is the one that's it's actually built on a Halo ring, and he's updated that too. So I'll have a look at that once I start doing our round twos. I'll go back and have another look at that one. So that brings me to a point where if you're following your map and it's been approved for the contest and it's got green bars on it, which means the green label and the 19 out of 19 checklist are done. That means it's ready to go. If you make additions after that point, you have to let us know because we have to reevaluate your changes to make sure that your changes didn't break your map. Okay, so I know builders like tweaking and stuff like that, but if the map's already been submitted and approved and you're still tinkering away at it, you have to make sure that we know you've made changes to it, just so that we can look at it one more time. I mean, it'll only take a minute to go in and look at it, but let us know what the changes are. We'll go in and reapprove it, because if you don't do that, you could be adding something or tweaking something on your map that breaks it and spoils it for the judging round. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, so I was right. This is where the one team spawns, and I'm assuming. Yeah, that's where blue team spawns up there. Okay, I'm gonna go through their teleport. Yeah, you see it had the effect of this thing disappearing as you went through it. So that's like what he did in his other one. So I'm gonna get rid of the one on this side as well. Just by being in it, gets rid of it. That's what the script does on it. Okay, good. So now I can see it in Forge mode. Now the first thing I'm gonna look for is frame rate, because there's a A lot of big bright structures on here. Oh right, first before I even do that, map options, theme is Ascendance, and he's got the effects set to dust, which is dust light, a bit of fog. See, I wonder if he can't just fix the visual effect by scaling his fog back a bit. I would let him play with it, obviously, not myself. I'm just going to turn it black for a second. Yeah, so it's still bright, and you still have the sun. Still, yeah, it's still a bit too bright. Okay, I'm almost. It's too bad because this is the only daytime canvas on this map, and this looks terrific. It's just maybe just scaling back the fog would be enough to help players out, because the fog adds a bit of glare to it, or just scaling it back. You don't have to turn it all the way off like I did. Just maybe scale it back. Otherwise, your gameplay elements are good. Except your spawns are embedded in the floor, and I've been through this with every other cord I've been working on. They all have this issue, and it's not hard to fix. So I'll just quickly go ahead and do it, and I'll describe it as I'm doing. Move these guys up and out of the way. Select all. Select all on the spawns. Select all of, turn them to normal physics, and there you see them pop up, and now they're still selected, just change them back to phase physics. So you didn't even have to let go of them. And then these guys here, you just stick them back down with magnets. Oh, it's being attracted to the wrong magnet, so whatever, you know how to do it, just line it up so line it up to the other one. Yeah, there's some magnets that are stronger than the ones on the spawns, or whatever. Either way, you know what to do. Just line them up. Or do it the old-fashioned way. You just select one, you select the other, and then you go through the position, and you just change them all. There we go. Perfectly aligned. Can't even tell where the other one is. Okay, so everything else, floor is good. I don't see any major bumps because everything's embedded in invisible blockers. He's got a 2-level floor plus a bonus clamber ledge, which didn't seem to clamber. Yeah, make sure you test this in game. I'm not sure why it's not clambering at all in Forge, but test that in game to make sure it works. So we've had other wall hop ledges or clamber ledges that don't work at all in Forge mode, but they work fine in game mode. Oh, and I see it, and his wall hop actually starts up high and moves down low, which is perfectly fine. Oh, this could be a problem. Oh, it's not a problem. Artur's thinking. He's thinking. He's made plenty of courts before, so he knows what to look for. I thought that you could get caught under here and jump, but he's put the invisible blockers up so that you can't. It doesn't cancel your jump when you jump along these walls, so that's good. Containment looks. Oh, right. I thought that was open, but it's not. Containment looks good. No ledges, no perches that I can see. Ceiling's fine. I think everything else looks fine on this. I don't really see any other issues other than the super brightness of this. You know, for giggles, I know, don't do it, but here I go. Just curious. I just want to see, just curious as to what this map would look like at nighttime. It looks gorgeous in the bright wash of sun. It's just, it might be too bright for players. So this is just something to consider. It may look better, it may look worse, I don't know. But we're about to find out. Now everything's glowy. Just something to consider. Yeah, I think I like the daytime better. The rocks and the terrain and that sort of thing all have a funny look to them. It could just be a distance fog thing, I'm not sure. Yeah, yeah, go back to the daytime one. See, technically there's you know, there's nothing wrong with using ascendance, but the problem is you're yeah, excuse me. The problem is 3 of the judges are Grifball players, and when we did our previous map tests, a couple of courts were rejected outright because players had glare in their eyes when they were playing. And there were some really excellent courts that were up for the round 2 for matchmaking that were kicked out just because of that. Like, the courts themselves were fine and beautiful, but the players just had a hard time seeing. So here's what I'm going to recommend. You've already got these the floating structures up there. Maybe you can get rid of 1 or 2 and put a big one, a really, really big one, like 2 of the largest rock chunks, just so that you can't see the sun unless you're like way back here. That's where the sun's going to start peeking out. Okay, so that you're like on this wall hop in the back ledge, and then you'll have a rock across that way, so it shields. Okay, so it shields players' eyes from having to look at this for the entire game, because you see how bright that is. It's even super bright on my monitor, and I mean, I'm sure other people have brighter monitors, but otherwise nice job. Everything else technically about the court is good, but just make that little change of blocking that sun. Just make another large structure up there that washes it, so that way that everything else will still be in bright sunlight. It's just the player's eyes will be a little more relieved when they can actually see what they're doing. That's kind of bright right there too, that inside there. I'm really surprised I'm not seeing frame rate on this court, because I've seen courts. Well, that's why it's only 773 pieces. That's amazing for a court with that so detailed that you've only got 773 pieces. So very good. Like the sound on it as well. Oh, I never looked down. Ah, nice. So yeah, good job on that. Just do as I say. Just get rid of that glare, that lens flare, and it should be good to go. Okay, thank you very much.